Hello, future. This is the Rock of Ages, and we are blasting off with Aetherdrift. We've got a collector booster box tonight, and we're going to see what we can get. And we're off to the first lap. I want to say this set, as someone who's been a little obsessed with Rip, who specifically works pretty well with vehicles, has been kind of set up as a secret forebear for what this set has to offer. See the pilot token, saddles, mounts, cruise vehicles. That is pretty set up for the whole thing we got going. Challenger vehicle token. So we've got some of the exhaust rares going. Those are interesting. I don't know if I'm personally as big a fan of them, but there's certainly some that are good enough. Sleep. The Voyager Quick Welder is an interesting take on the artifact, what makes artifacts cheaper. By having that white mana pip, you can't get it for free, but a 2/4 body is a lot better if you aren't completely running a combo town. So far, so good. Mulan Ling is not the most exciting one, but hey, sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do. All right, moving to lap 2. Winter, speaking of some fun Duskborn stuff. Maragondha Raceway, potentially pretty good. Likewise. Bunch of good pieces. New Gonti, very funny. I think there's an interesting theme in the last couple of years between Gonti and Ovika, or not Ovika, Ovari? Ovaries. We got a few creatures that do stuff. The Frontier Warmonger, I feel like, is the first big one of, hey, anyone get involved. You got some curses that do that. There is probably a deck theme to go with that. We got basic land. Pretty good setup. Race's Scoreboard to me stands out as a not amazing card draw, but a card draw that eventually gets you a one-sided cost reducer. It's hard to be mad at that. Leave those out for now. On lap 3. With all of the secret... Ooh, there we go. That's a really good hit. Probably between the Selesnya and the Azorius, you've got the two best ones there. This set has got a lot of interesting support for being an artifact set that's not an artifact set, but it kind of is. It's going to be interesting to see how that all ultimately pans out. A lot of interesting cards, the activate abilities playing around in that arena, vehicles as both just artifacts as a general matter, and then giving some interesting ways to interact with creatures and even ways to interact with the vehicles. We haven't pulled so much of that right now, but you can definitely see where that's going. And we round the corner to lap 4. Angel Sanction token, got one of those. Skyseer's Chariot, which is an online card name. An interesting little pithing needle. Don't get to see, but it is a body when you want it to, and it's not when you don't, which is probably about the best you can hope for in some of those scenarios. Wax and Shape Thief. stick. It's going to be really good. And Captain Howler Boy. See, I've got a Sean from the Fallout set. And I found that there's a pretty substantial little theme between legendary vehicles and legendary pirates. He already works really well. And some of the Assassin's Creed, specifically the pirate pair and Eevee, give you some pretty convenient access there. You can draw and discard, makes one unblockable, and now you're going to get some card draw and pump out of it. That is what we call nasty little bits of synergy. Victory. Not too bad. Draw 2 and make everyone pay 2. Can certainly do worse. All right. Moving on to lap 5. We'll go ahead and spoil it now a little bit when we get through lap 6. We're going to go ahead and have a little something extra. Hey, how about second Howler, which also reminds me, put him there. Curse Cloth Wrapping, zombies get a boost, and any creature card gets Embalm. It's pretty good. Actually, I should both be out here, because I don't know how cards work. Last Ride, cute. Woo! That could be fun. Every Spellslinger deck that's got a little bit of mana on its curve is going to be going crazy for that. Now we got the Foil Unstoppable plan. It's really cute. Yeah. Engine, not bad. I think Starting Calm is one of those really interesting ones. If you have anything else in your deck where you want that start your engines, a 3 mana mana rock is not the most exciting thing, but being able to get some card advantage back out of it if you just need it later. The low price of effectively 1 mana, it's hard to be mad at that. But, all right. So far, the set, I think there are a lot of different angles of interest. I think they've really been trying to work the pirate theme between Edward Kenway and the new stuff. You've got a lot of these. Sheesh! We've got a beautiful Radiant Lotus. Let's see if we can get in there a little bit. Yeah, buddy. All right, so Caradora the Explorer. Gonna search your deck for some more. And search your library for a basic land. Enter or attacks. Remember something about Rip? That is peak Rip card. Variable power. Give you some room there. Sealy from the Commander deck, just in case I didn't get myself that. Bossery, Tomorrow's Champion. Just a little guy. Really interesting cycling ability for a cat deck, and he just makes tokens. I think he is an interesting option for a commander if you really want to challenge yourself. Much more likely to be the secret sauce for a cat deck. If you've got a Johnny from MH3, for example, you might be in luck. Sky Crash. Always interesting to see these plain vanilla legends. They've got a whole set of them in here. None of them are super exciting, but yeah, the middle of the race. Let's try that box topper. We'll see if we can outdo the Radiant Lotus, which might be tough, but we'll see. Try not to crack the card on the way in. All right, what do we got? All right, so this is my first time seeing this in person. So we got the Golden Gun Mountain, looking interesting, and the Lifecraft engine. It doesn't look as bad as some of the videos I've seen. It doesn't come out as bad day not drinking enough water kind of piss water looking. The yellow's a little awkward, but I can see the appeal. I think you have to definitely check these out in person. I don't know. I'm definitely not the person with the filmography set up to know how to get this ideally, but they do look, in my very limited experience, better in person than I've seen on most of the film. We'll see if that holds up. But with the first half of the race done, this is what we've got. Pretty excited. The Radiant Lotus, that's kind of big, though, to be honest. Bright Glass Gearhulk kind of sneaking in there. We'll see. We're going to do some price checking before this is all over, and we'll be able to know how that worked. We'll go ahead and leave these up here. Leave the Radiant Lotus up there. The rest of these can take a little break. Or Mu Yanling. All right. Full throttle. One of the Verges. The Verges are neat. It's one of those rare land cycles where you ain't getting 10. If they do it right, we should end up with 20. Whew, Speed Demon. And like, of all of the Start Your Engines cards, I feel like this is probably the one that's the safest to just throw into a deck. If you're playing a black deck that would like a flyer, you are a demon. So there are plenty of, Kalia and many other demon themes that all get you there. Being a 5/5 that at the beginning of your end step, so as long as you're bringing in sorcery speed, you're probably getting at least one. If you can't get two with the Flying Trample, don't have any boots or anything, no other source of burn, I think then that's not the problem you got to worry about. Skybox Fairy, cute little card. Detention Chariot, another card that I'm going to specifically like for Rip. Cute. Dune Drifter, speaking of, this is a real nice card for getting some reanimation. It's not the most exciting body, but technically kind of overpowered if you can get a 3/3 out for that, turn some defender or a couple of 1/1s into a slightly bigger body, and being able to bring something back and on an artifact means you can possibly blink or reanimate that. That is going to be pretty good. All right. And we move on to lap 8. Can we outdo the Radiant Lotus? That is the question for the night. All right. Boppy. Burnout Bastronaut. That is going to be an interesting little guy. He's not quite golden. It sure looks it. At check. Web Strike Elite. Very cute. A instant speed cantrippy destruction that is not a spell when you do it. And a 3/3 for double green. That might end up seeing a bit more play than it... what's the word? It deserves to see more play than I suspect it's going to. That's the thing we should be going for. Either case, very fun. Seed of Varma, pretty cool. The one-time effect means maybe not the most exciting commander, but then again, you are in green and blue, so you could definitely make the most out of getting a one-shot effect there. Interesting Mana Dork. Avishkar Raceway, another one of those lands. I think that's the first I saw, but we'll check and post, see how much I was paying attention. So far, I don't recall seeing the Haste one, which is unfortunate because I think that is probably the one that I am most personally excited for. As someone who's unironically been playing Hall the Bandit Lord, the coming in tapped and the 3 life ping both add up pretty quick sometimes. Ooh. On foil, can't be quite excited for that for the OnlyFoils team, but the Fearless Swashbuckler. Speaking of, for the Sean deck, the Pirate Vehicles combo theme, the Swashbuckler is bringing you right on into it. The new land, pretty good. Guardian Sunmare, very neat. Attacks when saddled. Search your library for a non-land permanent card. Mana of 3 else on the battlefield and shuffle. Whew. Then we got Ripclaw Wrangler. I do think one thing, a lot of the more limited designed exhaust creatures are worth paying attention to is you don't treat them like I've heard the big talk would be over the Simic land search bird snake. The issue I see in that comparison is the idea that you're paying 6 to go for 2 lands, and not really. I think the way to look at that card is like a reverse adventure. In adventure, you would, for example, pay 1 in the green to play an extra land for the turn, and then you'd have the creature sitting in exile to play later. With those exhausts, you basically have the spell, as it were, on an activate ability on the board. Not too exciting. Not bad. The style of the art's pretty interesting. Hell Squad Heavy, the Goblin Boosty Boy, Rampaging Aetherhood, played a bit of Satya. I think this one is going to be pretty interesting. I suspect the idea that you're just stacking Buku infinite counters isn't really the move. Honestly, you get this boosted decently, like 8, 10, 12, anything around that range, and getting that much energy per turn. There are so many powerful payoffs. I think this card is going to see a lot more play and be a lot more effective used that way. Samut the Driving Force, very interesting. The creatures get power based on their speed, and then non-creature spells are cheaper. So if Rip was to an extent a Selesnya Vehicles deck, I think Samut is absolutely going to be made for being an annoying blocker, and then if need to tap out to get an even bigger vehicle blocking, gonna be pretty good for that. I think that kind of speaks for itself. Burn Rocket, cute. Ooh, little guy. I need to put that one aside for me. Refuge, Burn Rocket. There we go. Man, always getting more uses out of those old standby tapped lands. Gain 1 life. It's not a lot until it is. So far, I don't think we're out doing the Radiant Lotus. I feel like we probably blew our value load on that one. But with lap 11, we are closing in. So what do we have? Doretti, the Rocketeer Engineer. Enters or attacks. You get your little buddy and a Riptide Gearhulk. Hell yeah, brother. Like I said, I think between him and the Selesnya one, this one, more annoying. You see this, you see any sort of blink, you see a Conjurer's Closet, any of that, prepare, hold on your butts. And 2/5 double strike prowess is kind of a big deal. Another Verge, pretty good. On Wings of Gold, very interesting. You've got basically the super powered zombie / token boost. You got your Anthem, and you've got your little bats coming out, except they are zombies, which, because they're going to be zombies and tokens, you're absolutely getting that +1/+1. Doesn't double up, but you don't think you need it to. Another Skyshi's Chariot, fun. Hard Bike, Pathmaker. It's gonna be an interesting one. 6 mana, search for an artifact card. You get it out automatically if it's cheap, which is not optional, so that's gonna stop some stuff like abusing Always hate these. Not hanger back, market back, walking ballista. Can't get those and just put them in hand. You have to be prepared. But for the big stuff, we'll see. These planes. We'll take a look at the lands again a little bit. Tension Chariot. Funny one. A little expensive, but a 2/1 Flying Vigilance is a little bit more impressive for a body. So if you don't need the artifact destruction so much and just want that as a nice to have, kind of get there. So we'll go ahead and put that aside, and I'll do one last pass. We are in the final lap, and let's see what we've got. Ooh, Foil Verge. First time for that tonight. And a very nice one too. We got, let's see if I can find it here for the camera. There should be a little guy, but I'm not seeing it. Mannequin Core Guidelight. Very interesting. I think that could definitely do well as a commander. Start your engines means you can try to race that out to get those going. And whoo-wee! Hashaton, the CDH monster, baby. Let's go. Another Lumbering World Wagon. Pretty fun. Hull Drifter on that ongoing Mull Drifter type beat. Cute. Wind. One's pretty good if you've got a slightly aggressive aristocrat setup. Roadside assistance. So I think this one, there's bonus points if you play the OG Ariete, the Orzhov one, not the full Esper. Although that one might be funny too, but this one just really bites at the idea of being able to make that. We had to call about your extended car warranty as you slap it on them and make it so they can't attack you. So greatness. Cute little guy. Interface Ace. Got that big booty. All right. And so with that, in this final assessment, we got a pretty good setup. It's really hard to be mad on the Radiant Lotus. That is definitely getting us somewhere. Daretti is pretty good. Getting any artifact back is very nice. This is Iron Man's best friend. Call him Rhodey. And yeah, that is a great pull for my purposes and probably pretty good overall. The Radiant Lotus definitely, if we're doing the final numerical assessment, is going to get us somewhere. All right. And with this little jump, we can see the basic lands that we pulled out of here. At first, I was really not sold on the kind of HUD display, the HUD setup we've got here. I'm still not entirely on board. I think it works better for some and others. Offhand, the swamp is, I don't know. That's probably the one that's most weirdly borderline to me, that like it's on the cusp of I love the Avishkar design, and I just don't know with the insect bike. If it adds to or distracts, I kind of feel both pulled in and away. The forest and the mountain ones with the hands and the more direct action feel a little odder. I think it might be because of the vertical orientation. I feel like you got to flip your phone, buddy. Planes, I don't know. That one doesn't get to me. I like the island a lot. That one really does it. And when I look at the mountain more, I feel like it does actually make me a little bit more disappointed in the steering wheel part. I think without that, the art is very interesting. And with it, it just kind of soaks up a little bit. But they can't all be the greatest. And they definitely have some appeal. And I think if you're on theme, you get bonus points. But there's a lot of exciting stuff in this set, and I'm very hopeful that we're going to explore this more in the weeks to come. Have a great day. Bye.